Varun is into his third year, so just out of his honeymoon period of marriage. So, and it's his first time as on a national platform as spokesperson of the TDP. So he's a Yuva and he needs some encouragement. So, huh? Long honeymoon then. जो शादीशुदा उनको पता है 2 साल बाद क्या होता है, अब तो अभी तो शुरू हुई है कहानी. Anyway, प्रियंका जी, you are the dynamic. अब वक्त क्या?
You'll have to give the context since she said that young dynamic leader. So I looked at him. I said, "I'm dynamic. You are young," and that is what he's referring to.
And Ghanshyam, I met him as an educationist, and he's traversed the politics of UP, Bihar, UP, and then national politics. And we've had a lot of run-ins on debates, but I always hold him dear to my heart because he's doing some phenomenal work in the field of education. So as a politician, he's also doing some great work as an educationist. So welcome everybody. So we're going to traverse the length and breadth of your own personal journeys into politics, and then of course some real politics. But first, let's start with you, Priyanka ji. How did AAP happen? How did politics happen? And what were you before you turned politician?
Well, I am and I was a lawyer besides being in politics, and I'm very grateful to the Aam Aadmi Party, to Arvind Kejriwal ji, who collected us very passionate young people and gave us the freedom to grow and taught us how to question without offending people. And you will see Aam Aadmi Party, I can with great pride say, is the only party which has no parivarvad. You know, it was all us people from no political backgrounds. We got such a platform. I know he wants to jump in on this one, but you will have to be better behaved than Shehzad Poonawala. So that is my journey. I'm also a lawyer alongside being in politics. I'm very swayed by the idea of everyone getting good quality education in the country. I'm very swayed by the fact that everyone should have access to affordable healthcare, because like my leader Arvind Kejriwal ji says, the middle class is one hospital bill away from poverty. I will not agree with any aankadas he will give, because I read his notes secretly, so I can already tell you. And besides that, I mean, that's the little about myself, and I do want to come to the political part because that is more.
No, but what is this with lawyers and politics?
I think
हर पार्टी में, हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में आप मानेंगे ना?
ये भी लॉयर हैं.
हाँ वही तो.
ये भी लॉयर हैं. Basically, I think it just allows us to question without much fear or fervor. I would think it also gives us an analytical bent of mind and see both sides of the coin, more perspective. I mean, I'm glad to be a lawyer. I can argue either way, I would say.
No, but I don't know, why the political bug bites you or you...
No, actually, you know what happens in the court? You see so many cases. You see the injustice. You see what is happening with the country in a more broader perspective than what the media influences you through. Sorry, I don't mean it in a negative way.
No, sure.
It's just that the problems
there is a dynamic and there is a perspective.
Yeah, the problems there are manifold. And then you get to read about them, indulge in them, you get to know the perspective. It's a much broader field which gives you...
Kabhi aisa hua, you had a run in a heated debate with another spokesperson and next day you are on the same side arguing in court, or you got to work together on a particular case?
Yes, it has happened. And I think that is the beauty of a democracy, where I can fight with Siddharth Yadav currently and maybe have a cup of coffee thereafter.
You think that happens even today? Okay,
Not
because
so
a lot of seasoned politicians say कि वो ज़माना और
Not
था.
so much. I agree. Not so much. It used to happen, but not so much anymore, which is sad.
Why is that, Ghanshyam? As we get into your journey as into politics.
Thank you so much for this this stage. My journey into politics. My father served Air Force. I grew up studying in Kendriya Vidyalayas, became passionate about social sector, traveled the country from Punjab to Tamil Nadu to Maharashtra to UP, Rajasthan, studied in Karnataka, became a semiconductor engineer. Worked in Bangalore. Now semiconductor is a buzzword. Worked in Bangalore with Texas Instruments and Intel. But eventually my fascination to enter social sector motivated me to pursue higher education. So went to IIM Bangalore, Kellogg, some of these good institutions, Harvard. Eventually came to Patna after the education and worked with Nitish Kumar ji for around 6 years in Bihar on various ideas from politics to communications. and began a education startup in Delhi in 2016. Akhilesh ji invited me to be a national spokesperson for the party, and here I am. I think to your question that why is it divisive now, I think we have too many people thinking that they will sit on a sofa in their drawing room and decide who's nationalistic, who's Hindu, who's not Hindu, rather than traveling across the country, living in our beautiful villages, towns. I think when you travel the country, from village to town to city, across the nation, you realize that nobody is wanting anybody to give anyone certificate of nationalism, or certificate of Hinduism, or certificate of Islam. I think it's a handful of people who want to paint the entire country in one way, and that is why things are becoming divisive.
True, but you can also fight on television or argue, fight on the floor of parliament. You have a political difference, but you can still be friends. Have you not seen, as a tech guy yourself and someone who understands, people unfriending people on Facebook, on platforms because you hold a political ideology? How did that happen? How can you unfriend a friend because there's a political difference? You may oppose Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he may support Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You may oppose the BJP, you may support the Samajwadi Party, he may oppose the Samajwadi. But that doesn't stop the two of you from being friends, right? Why do you unfriend people based on their political... Vishnu Jain is in the house. Big round of applause for him. Namaste. Yeah.
Let me append that question with the thought that we are in the age and era of AI. Just in the previous panel, they spoke about how technology can nudge you based on your various habits. You will be in a time when you can speak to your phone and it will talk to you in a conversational AI in any language about your account, the habits, the kind of scams you can be exposed to, the kind of investment you can make. Similarly, you take Siddharth's phone, you take everyone's phone here, Anand's phone, my phone, right? And you ask the phone in due course, based on the messages on my phone, am I a hateful person? Do I get everyday messages of hate? And you will know the answer. If your phone tells you, it's not Ghanshyam Tiwari or Priyanka Kakkar or Anand, it's not Modi ji. If your phone tells you that based on the history of your messages on your phone, you are a hateful person or you're not a hateful person, you get so many messages related to hate. It could be related to any community. But if your phone is telling you that for 10 years, your message history tells you you've been a hateful person, then there's no way you can sit across the table for a cup of coffee with somebody who thinks differently. Fundamentally, we have to decide for the youth and for the future, whether it is through television, through YouTube, we're talking about adolescents as well, are technologies, messages, this continuing barrage of painted, single-minded narratives making us hateful or not? If we don't decide, technology will decide for us. One final point. When you get a call, those of you who have Truecaller on your phone, if the number says it's a spam, you'll probably not pick up. So before you knew that person, technology has already marked that person as spam. In due course, the same technology, if somebody is speaking, Siddharth is speaking, I am speaking, and a bottom ticker, which is AI generated, says that this person is hateful, you may not listen to him.
But there's a fundamental difference in the comparison that you make, and I hope the audience appreciates that. When you unfriend a person, that person is already your friend. It's not technology or a number. A number is spam. A person is not. And I said you're unfriending people. I'm not saying you are befriending people or deciding not to accept it. Hanji, ji. And then we'll get Varun
one
and
has to agree and admit that what has happened in today's time is it's my way or the highway. So if you don't, it's the government has imposed it such. You have a different view. You are an anti-national. The area and space for discussion, that has become very narrow. And that is one thing which percolates from the top, you know, when it trickles down from the top and we also think similarly, and then the person will unfriend you. This is what I think.
No, I'll tell you one thing. Let me ask you. There are political parties who have, I will tell you personal experience, who have decided not to come on my show because they believe this person's point of view is not akin to us or whatever their position. All right, that's your professional position as a politician. Does that mean you will not come and sit and have a coffee and have a conversation offline? There's a difference there. Why is it that what is your political position is deciding your personal life and how you will behave and interact with it as people. Sorry, I'll get Varun in. Yes, Varun. And as an ally, as somebody that is the TDP, which was part of the NDA, then moved out of the NDA, and I was back thick in the NDA and propping it up largely, you know, along with the JDU. What is your point of view? And as a youngster,
Thank you for this
you must have
stage.
got into politics in the last 8-10 years, correct?
16 plus.
Ah, all right.
So I have a cycle party along with me. Our symbol is also a cycle. I have an ally already, so I have 3 friends already on the stage. So 3 things, Anandji. In politics, there are no permanent friends and permanent enemies. First thing, let's get that right. Second thing, in social media, you add friends, you don't make friends. Okay, friends are made outside and you add them on social media. Please don't get confused. We have a tendency of feeling people as friends on social media. They are just your contact list. That's what is my personal opinion. Third
Well
thing
said
is
there,
that
yeah.
we have come over from a transition phase wherein believing politicians, so for example, if I'm a politician, if Mr. Ghanshyam is also a politician from another party, we've forgotten the fact he is my rival or competitor, but he's not my enemy. Okay, we have now come with an agenda where you are from another party, you are my enemy. I know you for 10 years, 20 years, I know your personal affiliations, etc. No, you are my enemy, no matter what. If that's the case, then nothing can change us. They say ideology is thicker than blood. So friendship has to be thicker than ideology if you have to get out of this. So anybody who comes with that mindset of unfriending someone, even in personal life, not social media, even in personal life, because he believes in a different ideology, I think that has to be evolved at a personal level. It has to come from the inner side. So if you believe ideology is thicker than blood, then keep friendship is thicker than ideology or relationship is thicker than ideology.
Very well said there. In fact, someone told me those who are unfriending you because you hold a particular view, then perhaps were never your friends because they never understood all of you. Now, that's one perspective. The other perspective is, listen, if I disagree with this person, I don't want this person in my life. So that's another point of view. We all have to individually decide where we are.